Don Moody here of handymanreality.com of Edmonton, Alberta. I'm here looking at preparing an attic for an icicle-free winter. So if you have problems where you have large icicles off of the sides of your eaves trough, things like that, where you get icing up your roof and it actually melts onto the inside, comes out your light bulbs, things like that, then this is what we're going to discuss today. So one of the first things I look at is adequate size of soffit, and see the little holes in all of that soffit. That's what we prefer, and we're hoping that there's nothing under there blocking it. Sometimes that's an adventure in itself. So now, when I looked up in the attic of this home, it has wood shavings for insulation. So we want to blow in some cellulose, just because it's a little more affordable than the pink, but weighs a lot more. So here's an excellent explanation of how a roof venting works. And it is the venting that actually prevents the ice, keeps the ice off of your roof. Your roof, the top of your roof, should actually always be the same temperature as it is outside. So I've got these ventilation channels because what I want to do is I want to blow in insulation. So what I'm going to end up doing is putting these channels in between the rafters, leaving a little bit of space for the soffit. So I'm just going to go just over top of the wall of the house, sort of thing. And then that's going to give me 4 feet up to where I could spray the insulation underneath without worrying that it blocks the entrance to the soffit. Now the soffit is your cool air vent, so your cool air comes in and your hot air leaves through your roof vents or whirlybirds, things like that. So your hot air essentially sucks in the cold air or the cooler air, and that keeps your roof at the same temperature as outside. So no icing, and your shingles probably last longer. So of course, one of the first things we needed to do was build ourselves a box that's high enough to handle the amount of insulation that we're going to be putting in here. Now these boxes really suck for climbing over top of, so I've actually put in some pin bolts and some hinges so that I can just open that, sort of thing. And then that makes it easier for any time you need access into the attic, because it actually just presses down the insulation and gives a guy a little bit of room so he could put some, say, boards to float on top of the insulation that he would work his way into the attic for whatever you're going to do. That's exactly what these boards are here for. Is there's going to be times where I need to look down there. I need to actually install the vents down there into the majority of these cavities, sort of thing. This house has recently had a new roof and all new vents installed. So I'll also be adding in things like the bathroom fan will be replaced and revented. The kitchen will be revented. Nowadays a lot of the kitchen fans require 6-inch pipe, not 4-inch, so they need to be upsized. So one of the first things I want to talk about, besides my really smooth Ryobi light, I tell you, this thing is smoking. I can run it cordless, or I can plug a plug into it. That's just lovely. Now my big concern here is when I turn this light off, we should see a little bit of light coming through the soffits all the way along and all the way around. So Just looking down there gives me concern already. So let's do that. Now we have a problem, Houston. We really have a problem. Ooh, is that a hair of light coming out of one of those? Looks like it, just a hair of light. So now, because I see that hair of light, I have a little more confidence that the soffits are actual true soffits, and that once I put in the baffles or rafter vents, that should increase the amount of light and airflow. So I'm going to start at that, and then maybe return in a while, and we'll discuss more. Okay. So this is YouTube. Somebody will lose their shit because I can actually show them exactly how to do stuff. So I have my boards to keep my ass safe. I'm just checking a vent. Okay. I don't want to fall through the ceiling, so I have these. I hate paying for drywall and, you know, sanding above my head. So I have my, it's about I think about a 7-foot board here. Actually should be an 8-foot. I think these are 5 feet. So anyways, on my board, I've actually measured one of these and made a line on my board. Something I can see. Now the soffit is about 2 feet. So the idea of this is, well, the practice. Yes, this sucks, but anyways. Okay. So we hold the board up. Now you got to remember, there's roofing nails hanging down from the roof. So don't put your head up there too high, or you might hurt yourself a bit. The other thing is when you're trying to slide the board down, you don't want to be riding right against it. But you do need to push it up into that cavity so it's above everything. Because you don't want to push that goddamn, that sawdust down into that into the soffit. So you keep working your way, lifting the board until you're past everything. And now that there is the fascia board that I'm hitting. So generally that's about 2 feet. So I pull my board back and I lay it down. I take my vent and I slide it all the way down that board until the black line, because you know black lines matter. Okay. Now, we gotta keep pulling our boards over here as we work our way over. Now the damn. Now, I don't really want to lean on this while I'm trying to tack it, but sometimes you can. And what you're out to do, get your ass down there far enough to be able to lift the vent onto the bottom side of the roof, and then hit it twice on each. 3 or 4 if you're concerned, on each side of the vent. Now, one caveat we need to talk about here, and that is there are 2 channels here, or 2 rafter spaces, where this board stops short. Okay, now there's 2 of them that way, and it stops like right at the end of the roof, the top of the wall. Now what could be there are plumbing vents, which is a pipe that goes up through the roof. I'm not sure why 2 of these spaces are blocked, but that's what it is. Now it's nothing to freak out about. As long as you have good venting in the rest of the spaces, and you have good outlet venting, which you might be able to hear here. I can hear the street a bit. As long as you have the 2, then you have the cool air coming up and the hot air leaving. The whole big point of this is the hot air must leave, not get trapped in here, sort of thing. So that's the idea of the vent, is that it clears out that space, keeps this roof at the same temperature as the outside is. So yeah, so we keep pushing this stuff down, being careful of this one here, probably a thermostat wire. You don't want to pull out wires. You're going to be laying on top of some 110, 120. Be careful about it. Don't be pulling at this shit. Otherwise, move your boards. Go down number 3. Yeah, same gig again. The board's got to ride just under the roof. Now I always like to push all the way through, because I want. I fell the other day and I have a chip in my arm. I know I got a chip from a rock. That bank is really gonna get it. Can't get a doctor's appointment for a long time yet. Monday. So anyways, enough about me. So I like to push it all the way down, like I said. About 2 feet, pull it back, and then you can see your line. Probably you can't, but I can. And you're going to slide this down, and this is not going to go all the way because the end of the board is touching the roof. So sometimes I even take my hammer tacker, lift the board a bit, and just slide it down. Crappy part is if you try to pull the board out, the damn thing moves. So you need to work around the board to hammer tack it to the ceiling, or the roof, underside of the roof. Anyways, this has been the handsome and dashing Don Moody of Handyman Reality of Edmonton, Alberta. And this is how to repair roof venting, specifically inlet venting, so that the outlet vents work correctly and that the roof does not trap warm air from whatever is coming up from below. Like if your insulation isn't thick enough, high enough, R value, then of course some hot air is going to escape here and there. Around your cooking appliances, things like that, it's going to be hotter. So if that hot air gets through, gets to the bottom side of the roof, it frosts it up. And actually it will ice the ends for a few feet usually. But the frost is a real problem. Because if the frost works its way back far enough, when when the spring thaw comes, what happens is it all melts, drips right down through your insulation. Usually if there's poly, which in this place there is, poly above the drywall, and then what it will do is run over to a light box, and it will pour out of there. So that's a good indicator, should you ever see moisture around a light box, or have witnessed the raining in a house. That's a good indicator of that this needs to be done before more insulation needs to be added. Now I will have the ability to blow in 10 to 12 inches of insulation underneath that vent, and that vent will ensure that there is good cold inlet air venting. So anyways, have a nice day now.